de Cartoon Network que trata sobre 3 hermanos oso, pardo, polar y panda, quienes con sus peculiares características tratarán de sobrevivir en el mundo de los humanos. Daniel Chong es su creador y gracias a It's Spoiler Time y Pixelatl tuvimos la oportunidad de platicar con él.
At what point did you decide to move the comic to a sitcom? I mean, like, you woke up one morning and you are like, oh, I want to have a sitcom, I'm going to go with Cartoon Network. Or how was the process for this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's that dissimilar to that. I mean, I've been working in the animation industry for like 10 years, 11 years, and I think I just decided one day I want to start making something for myself, something that's personal, something that means something to me, and I think I started looking at some of the old projects I had, and Bears was one of them. So I had some other projects too that I developed, but Bears was the one that kind of I decided to pitch to Cartoon Network, and that's kind of how it happened. I just had this webcomic that was ready to go, so I just developed it from there.
At what point do you decide to show them as babies, and why traveling around the world? I mean, it's like they are babies. Why they are all alone, like around the world?
Well, the baby bears were actually from the comic too. Like I did like 2 comics as baby when they were babies, so I knew I wanted to add that aspect to the show for fun, just to give an extra layer to the show and have like a different type of episode, so it wouldn't all be the same. But I think the idea behind the baby bears is like they're just looking to be adopted. They're looking for a place in the world, just like the bears, but they're looking for it's more primitive, primal, because they're babies, they're kids, so they're just looking for family, and they don't know what their future is yet. So all they think is, I want a mom and dad. And we just thought another way for us to get a lot of leverage for different types of shows is we can have the bears look for family anywhere in the world. So they can be traveling, they can be in even weirder situations than the normal bears would be in, and that would just be the fun thing, because I think especially because they're kids, you give allowance for kind of weirder episodes in a way, and you kind of want to do weirder episodes. With the adult bears, it's a little more grounded, a little bit more, existing in our world. But I think the baby bears can do a lot of weirder things because they're kids, and it's a little funnier and a little more stranger.
And here's like a fun question: why they don't have parents?
Why don't they have parents? I think the idea was that the 3 bears needed each other, and that's what bonded them together. So they were all orphans, I think, pretty much, and they found each other at a certain point, and that was their struggle in life. That was their test in life, was that they had to make it on their own. But in order to survive, they had to find each other, and they kind of banded together, and until when they were adults, obviously, and they still don't have parents, but they have each other. And to me, I thought that was the kind of emotional bond that they shared with each other, and that was why I wrote it that way.
Are you going to show how they met?
I will, but not yet.
I hope so. So yesterday you were talking about that when you show the comic to Cartoon Network, it was fast, but you have to be open to changes and stuff. So what is the biggest change that they made to the comic and your purpose that you were not sure about it, but now you said, wow, it's okay, that change?
That's a great question. Well, I would say 2 things that the studio guided me with the most, that I owe a lot to them for. One was Ice Bear's voice. I think I knew exactly what I wanted, but we had a lot of trouble casting Ice Bear's voice. And I think at a certain point, I told the network, maybe I'll just make him that he doesn't talk, because I just couldn't find an actor that could do his voice.
Yeah.
So I had told the network, I think we should just make him not say a word ever, because it's just impossible to find the right voice. And then they didn't want that. They really pushed me, you gotta find the voice. They even asked me to do the voice, and I was like, I don't really want to do it. Luckily, we found this comedian, Dimitri Martin, who just did perfectly for it. But I owe a lot to them for helping me make those decisions. And I also think for the other voices, the network was instrumental in helping me choose the voices. I just think a lot of times you need second opinions to help you kind of see a different way of looking at how the voices are working, and I think you can't just work in a vacuum a lot of times. You have to get feedback from other people the hope is that the feedback you get, especially from their work, has good taste attached to it.
Yeah.
They can also have bad taste. But luckily, I think the people at Cartoon Network really had a good sense of like what they felt was going to work well, and they helped guide me to make those decisions when it came to casting. So.
Yeah.
Also, we changed the title. That was tough. But that wasn't our fault or their fault. It just the title. I guess it was no, Three Bear Bears. That was the original comic name, and I pitched it the show called Three Bear Bears. But then when I ran it by legal, someone. It's not that someone owned the name, but they owned something close enough to it that it could have created legal problems. So I had to change the name of the show. And I threw around a bunch of different things, but I landed on Three Bear Bears. They liked it, so it all worked out.
Do you like it in the name in Spanish?
I love it.
Escandalosos.
Yeah, I told the people at Turner, it's embarrassing because it's almost more clever than our actual title. So I was like, why you guys? I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
So, which one of the characters of the three bears are you more relatable with?
I think Panda is closest.
You're more
to me.
Panda?
Yeah, I think so. I'm more default. I'm all of them, I think, in different ways. Grizzly.
But the most?
Panda probably the most.